Please be upstanding for His Worship the Mayor.
Looks like a bit of a technical issue up here at the moment. I'd just like to welcome everybody to this evening's full council meeting on Wednesday the 26th of July. Please note that this meeting will be recorded for subsequent broadcast via the authority's intranet site. The images and sound recording may also be used for training purposes within the authority. The public seating areas will be in view of the camera, and by entering the chamber and using the public seating area, members of the public are consenting to be filmed and to the possible use of those images and sound recordings as outlined above. And we'll move on to this first item on the agenda, apologies for absence. Excellent, no apologies for absence. And agenda item number 2, declarations of interest. Members are reminded of their personal responsibility to declare any personal and prejudicial interest in respect of matters contained in this agenda in accordance with the provisions of the Local Government and Finance Act 1992 relating to council tax, the Local Government Act 2000, the Council's Constitution and the Members' Code of Conduct. And can I refer members to notes A and B, please? Thank you. There are no declarations. And if we move on now to agenda number 3, minutes of the previous meetings, to approve as accurate the minutes of the following meetings, 3A to 3K. And somebody take that forward, please.
I'll move those minutes.
I'll second, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Councillor Barry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, for accuracy, on full council meeting 28th of June, which is page 7 in our pack, item number 44, representatives to other bodies, it correctly says in there that we deferred the decision on the national parks. We also did the same for nuclear-free local authorities, which is not mentioned in there. So if that can be put in, it would be useful if we'd know when that's coming back. But I move that amendment, please, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, that's fine. No problem. Thank you very much. And can we put that to the vote then, please? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The motion is carried. And if we move on to agenda item number 4, is the start of the committee reports. And the first one is focus on the future well-being in our community to consider report of the Chief Executive, pages 35 to 38. And would somebody like to take that one forward, please?
I'm taking that one forward, Mr. Mayor. The summary of the report talks about investing in the well-being in the community, doing things differently. It's set out in the Well-being of Future Generations Act. And many of us here have received training over the coming weeks, in the past week, sorry, on the well-being of future generations. It tells us how to work differently. It tells us how to work at developing the well-being aims, those aims around best start to life, work in life, environmental well-being, living well. It also gives us requirements as councillors in that we should play a significant leadership role in our community as ambassadors in pushing these priorities forward, and also gives a perspective set out what we expect of council. These provide the bedrock of what we should do as councillors, I believe. And I also would like to say we've had some considerable training. I would like to thank Ewan and his team for that training. And I'd like to put that report forward.
And do we have a seconder?
Yes, I'll second that. Thanks.
Thank you. And can we open to questions then, please? Any comments? And can we take that one to the vote then, please? Thank you. That motion is carried. And we move on to agenda item number 5, which is the Independent Remuneration Panel for Wales Annual Report 2017-18, to consider the report of the Chief Executive, and that's on pages 39 to 44. Can I ask someone to take that one forward, please?
I'll take that, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Independent Remuneration Panel for Wales Annual Report 17-18 relates to payments for local authority elected members, co-opted members and heads of paid service in Wales. Appendix 1 is a comprehensive list of the determinations available. We have had an addendum which all members should have now, which we'll come on to currently. Introduction and background 3.1 to 3.4 and 4.1 to 4.4 summarises new panel determinations. It's a summary of the IRPW rises and some structural changes. I take it all members have read the report. If I refer you to the addendum, 3 columns there. The 603,400 relates to the costs to the authority last year. The level 1 is now at 619,700, and the 590,300, that relates to all level 1 payments and all level 2 payments. Our actual costs will be slightly different to that because we're using a combination of level 1 and level 2 in the structures that we're using. I'll take you to the recommendations. The content of the annual report of the IRPW for 17-18 be noted, and the Council's instructions on whether to amend the senior salary levels are requested, which brings me to proposed recommendations, page 39 at 2.1. Taking into consideration the responsibility and workload of a small executive, we propose elected executive members and chairs be remunerated at level 1, and we will continue to remunerate the civic head and deputy civic head at level 3. I so move, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Barry. Do we have someone to second that, please?
I'm happy to second the item, and in doing so, I would like to announce that each individual member within the independent group, including me, has separately and individually decided to take a 2.5 deduction from our salaries to offset the panel's £100 suggested increase, which will be put back into a council fund.
Thank you. Any questions? Any comments? Councillor Barry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I can't speak on behalf of the Labour Group because I'm not going to mandate any of the members to take a deduction. I said I've spoken to quite a few of them, and they will be taking said deduction. But as in the previous 5 years, there's always been at least one member who felt because of personal circumstances they couldn't take such a deduction. If that's the case, be it within the Labour Group or the Independent Group, I guarantee we will not make any political capital out of it, because not everybody can afford to do the same as everybody else. But I've had a chat with a few of us, and I feel certain that the majority of us will certainly be taking the same pay cut.
Thank you, Councillor Barry. Are there any more comments? And can we take that one to the vote then, please? Thank you very much. That motion is carried. And we now move on to agenda item number 6, which is the 2017 Procurement Rules Update, to consider the report of the Deputy Chief Executive, pages 45 to 48. And can I ask somebody to take that one forward, please?
I'll take that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Procurement Rules Update 2017. The report summarises the procurement of goods and services and works to ensure that they're used in an effective manner. The current procurement rules were approved in January 2016. These are reviewed on an annual basis. The summary of the main changes are included in Appendix 1 at page 47. At 3.5, the primary changes include incorporating procurement board governance and contract information procedures. There are no financial implications, Mr. Mayor. And I move to recommendations. 2.1, the revised rules effective from the 1st of August be approved. I move. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And could we have somebody to second that, please?
I second that.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Any comments? Councillor Skinner.
Just to comment on the general agenda, I've abstained purposely today because I don't feel that we're given enough time to fully research the agenda items. So in all consciousness, I don't feel I can vote on something that I haven't had the time to look into and research effectively. So I wonder whether in future, is there any chance we could have more time to look into these things?
So it can't be dealt with, but if there are issues that you want to discuss with the officers or with your group outside of this meeting, I'm sure the officers certainly can make themselves available to discuss that with you.
Okay, can we take on to the vote then, please? Motion carried. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now we move on to information report. Agenda item number 7 is the BIFA profit sharing scheme and Fossa France small grant scheme. To receive report of the Chief Officer Community Regeneration, pages 49 to 50. And we move on to other items. So we've got agenda item number 8 to deal with any other urgent business or correspondence. I don't have any. And agenda item number 9 to receive communications from His Worship the Mayor. I do not have any either. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This meeting is now at close. Thank you.